today what our task is we're going to assemble the shallow well pump, get that system primed, and do a test sample. So we're going to do a control sample for bacteria to prove that there is bacteria in the water. And then after we sanitize the water, we will do a test sample again to see if our sanitizer has done its job. So this is our workspace this morning. It's a little crowded. We've got our inverter and a couple batteries just temporarily set up here while we're waiting for all of our power system to get installed. But
that tight corner.
This is the corner where our shallow well pump is going to sit. So we've got it in a drain pan. So if there's any leaks or when we're priming or when we're flushing the filter, it won't go all over our shop floor. So our next step is we're going to glue in the drain for the drain pan. We're going to glue up. This is just a overflow drain, so I'm not going to worry about priming it, but I definitely want it to be not leaking because then it kind of defeats the purpose. Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Amy, if you'll go outside and make sure that that drain is perfectly up, straight up and down, and then I'll tighten it into place.
Let's go hold this pipe straight up and down. Oh, actually, looks pretty good. Okay.
Okay, so hold it right there for a second. Perfect.
Okay. All done.
So we're going to start by plumbing in the suction side or the inlet side of our shallow well pump. That's going to include a union in case we ever have to change any of the parts, as well as a 50 micron strainer that'll keep any of the chunks out of our system. I've made the mistake before of getting primer on concrete. It doesn't come off very well. So today, I must have slept well last night because I thought ahead to put this cardboard down. So this is the pipe that we put in last June that goes all the way up to the shallow well. It connects to the pipe that we used to pump water out of the shallow well. This shallow well is going to go through many phases of use. These threads on this well pump are very loose. So I'm going to put a lot of tape on here to make sure that it seals well. Hopefully that's enough. Perfect. So I know I'm not supposed to spin the pipe with this cutter. It's supposed to ratchet, but the spring on my ratchet's broken, and so it doesn't ratchet very well. Okay, we got that level. Okay. Oh, we got that level. Bottom of the coupling, and then the slip. It's hot. Okay. And now That looks 90-ish. Okay, so we've got our paths crossing. Mark where we want to cut our pipe so we've got enough to go into the slip. Now we'll cut there and there, and it should fit. My manual spring. This shelf doesn't make it the easiest.
No, put that shelf there.
Someone's smart. Look at that.
Beautiful.
We can even drain this right into the pan.
Nice.
All right, so we've completed the intake side of our shallow well pump. This 1-inch PVC pipe is coming from the shallow well. We've got our union. It's going to come up through the 50 micron strainer and into the intake of the shallow well pump. All right, ready for the outlet side of the shallow well pump. Again, lots of tape because these are loose fittings. And this is the pressure side of the pump. We are ready to assemble our UV sterilization chamber. First thing we're going to do is we're going to install the quartz tube. This is the waterproof tube that the UV bulb rides in. So the bulb itself isn't in the water. It's inside this tube that is inside the chamber. So just like a halogen bulb, you don't want to get any fingerprints on any of these pieces. So we're going to be very careful putting these O-rings on. We want to be about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Amy, would you hand me that tape measure and we'll see how close I measured. Oh, 3/4 of an inch. So then we're going to install this in from the bottom. So now we're going to put our bottom cap on. We know it's the bottom cap because of the way it is. No, it doesn't have the hole in the cap.
Oh, okay.
And you tighten until you hear the glass break. Not really. All right. Now you can see the top. The glass tube is coming out. So we're going to get another one of our, or the quartz tube. It's not glass, it's quartz. We're going to get our next O-ring. There's a flat side to this O-ring. You want to make sure the flat side is against the tube. So if it does roll, you want to make sure to unroll it, I guess. Yeah, so we got a seal there.
Okay.
So the instructions recommend the use of Teflon tape on the threads to make sure that they don't leak. So no leaks are good. And now what looks like the exact same process. We're going to Teflon tape the bottom. The instructions say to tighten these caps as tight as you can by hand, but they don't know how strong Amy is. All right, Amy, see if you can tighten that up. Let me hold it. Perfect. Good job.
Thanks.
All right, the next step is we're going to mount up our UV sterilization chamber to the wall, and that will tell us where all of our pipes need to run to get in and out of it. Perfect. So we're gluing up the outlet from the shallow well pump in 1-inch PVC, and then that's going to step down to 3/4 inch expansion pecs. You know what I did? Now I can't get my tool in to expand this guy, but I think I can, yes, I can take off this union and we'll be okay.
Okay. Crisis averted.
Crisis averted, okay. And we'll do a test fit. That looks pretty good. Have our suction side that we talked about, but now we have our discharge side coming out of the pump, coming up, converting into PEX A as it goes into the UV sterilization chamber. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plumb the outlet from the UV sterilization chamber.
So we're doing the expansion because it's the most leak proof?
I feel that it is.
Okay.
And what's nice about the expansion is that because it has a memory, that's what makes it the expansion. So you stretch it out and then it remembers being small, and so then it goes back down to being small. Because it has that memory, that's going to be too short. If it ever freezes, it would expand and then it would remember where it was and it won't crack.
Okay.
It just has the ability to expand, whereas other pipes like copper or PVC can crack if it expands, which is not good.
Nope. No cracks. Oh, shoot. Sorry. That's my bad.
Okay. So we originally weren't going to put these 90s on coming out of the sterilization chamber, but we were reading in the instructions that the UV light can actually damage the fittings, the plastic fittings, if you don't. So since light doesn't bend around corners, we had to put those corner pieces in. We got our water meter. If everything is proper, we should be able to get water here soon. But what we have, we've got our water again coming in from the shallow well through the intake of the pump, out the discharge of the pump. It's going to start going into the bottom of the UV sterilizer chamber, come out of the UV sterilizer chamber, go through a water meter so we can tell how many gallons of water we get out of our shallow well each year. And then this valve, when opened, sends water to the fill valve that's be installed in the cistern. We also have a sample port here so we can take test samples of our untreated water and our treated water before we send it to the cistern.
Okay, let's go see if there's water in the shallow well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay! Ooh, that looks pretty high up.
so it's 12 feet to air.
Nice.
And we are at
It's a
6 feet. So we've got 6 feet of water.
nice.
Very nice.
That's exciting. Okay.
What we have to do now is we've got to prime the system. So we've got to get water down into the shallow well to prime the foot valve. So there's a foot valve on the bottom of the strainer. Plus we need to prime this whole line through the pump so that when we turn the pump on, it'll pressurize. How we're going to prime this is we're going to put our fancy little piece here, maybe.
About the same size.
It's not the same size.
It's not?
That's a 3/4.
Okay.
Okay then. We got to find some 3/4 pipe.
Okay.
All right, so we've got our fancy filler. We'll just hook that into the valve down there.
Okay.
Maybe.
There it goes.
There we go. And then I will start pouring water into it.
Okay. Let's see if we get some water out. Come on. I smell a ton of fumes. Very stinky. Come on. Oh, I see water in the filter. I don't think it's going to come blasting out. I'm going to shut this off. And I'm going to go see what's up.
All right, we are fully primed.
Okay.
All right, now that we've got our line all primed, it's time to turn off that valve again. Got it. So now we'll pull this out.
Okay.
That's just the rest of the primer water. We're ready to go turn on the pump.
Getting all stirred up in there. We have water coming out. Yay, water.
Ooh, ice cold.
It's very clear.
All right, so we've put about 100 gallons through it, so we've kind of flushed out the system, flushed out all the pipes. Now we're going to take a water sample for our control. This is the untreated water.
Okay. This is definitely crystal clear. We'll see how contaminated it is, though.
What we're going to do is we're going to have a control test. This is our untreated water. When we had our water tested last year, it showed presence of coliform. Did not have any E. coli in it, which you might find in surface water wells, which is what ours technically is. But it had coliform. So what we're going to do is we're going to confirm that we still have coliform, and then that we don't after we treat it with UV sterilization. So I'm going to put a C on this lid for control. And what we do is we add the water, and in 48 hours, if it's purple, there's no harmful bacteria detected. If it's yellow, it's highly likely that harmful coliform bacteria are present. So I'm going to take off the lid without touching the inside of the cap. Pour water just to the shoulder. Put the cap back on. Shake it vigorously.
No.
Dun, 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 dun. It's purple. It means it's safe to drink.
Just chug it right there.
Mm-hmm. Still some chunks.
Yeah, on the bottom right there.
Oh, yeah. Now the other test we're going to do on our control is our 17-in-1 drinking water test strips. It tests for 17 things. So we're going to dip our test strip all the way in the water for 2 seconds. Wipe the edge. Total hardness is basically 0.
Wow.
There's 0 chlorine, 0 iron.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good.
Copper, 0.
Okay.
Lead, 0. Nitrate, kind of 0. Nitrite, 0. That's good. MPS, whatever that is, 0. Total chlorine, 0. Fluoride, 0.
Wow.
Cyanic acid, less than 0. Ammonia chloride, 0. Chlorine dioxide, 0. Total alkalinity. Okay, so our alkalinity is 80% or 80.
Yeah.
80 parts per million alkalinity.
Okay.
Our carbonate is
That's probably
180, which is actually, if you can see the little box, the 120 to 180
is in the normal range.
the normal range,
Oh,
and we're at
okay.
180.
Okay.
And then our pH.
Our pH looks high. I'd say we're not that, like right there.
Well, 7 is neutral on pH.
Oh, okay.
And so we're not alkaline and we're not acidic.
Okay, well that's great.
Yeah.
We got good water as long as it doesn't have bacteria in it. Or as long as we can treat
As long
whatever
as we can treat
bacteria
the
is in it.
bacteria, exactly.
Right.
And so,
That's
all right.
exciting.
Now we will put the light in,
Okay.
run a cycle where all the water is going past the light, and we'll take another test sample.
Okay. Going in. Don't let it drop.
Okay, and the ballast.
Got it?
Yep.
Green light, okay.
All right, now we wait 3 to 5 minutes for that bulb to warm up, and then we'll run some more water through it.
Okay.
So we've put another 100 gallons of water through the system with the UV sterilization turned on and warmed up. So now we'll take a test sample. Now we have our sanitized water that we are going to test. Shake, 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 shaky. 20 seconds of shaking until all the test media dissolves. It's been 20 seconds yet?
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Jeff's Science Corner. You know it's Jeff's Science Corner because I'm wearing my glasses. We have spent 48 hours waiting for the results of our harmful bacteria test from our shallow well water. I'd like to say I don't know what the results of the test are, but I did have to move them out of the warm apartment to the picnic table. So they have been in the proper temperature for the full 48 hours and then some. So let's see what the result is. So this is the treated water. So if there's no harmful bacteria, it will have stayed purple. So let's see. So purple result means that there's no harmful bacteria. That is good. If it had turned yellow, the harmful bacteria would have been present. So now let's go back to our control and see if there was harmful bacteria present before we treated the water. And it is also purple, which is a good thing, but it doesn't really prove that we removed any harmful bacteria. So our water did not have any harmful bacteria at the time of testing, and it did not have any harmful bacteria after sanitization with the UV light. What does that tell us? It tells us that the water is safe to drink. So it doesn't prove that the UV light is doing its job. but it did prove that there's no harmful bacteria. So what we'll do is we'll do the same test again in a month or two and see if there's any bacteria present in the control sample at that time. All right, so heading up to the tanks. We're about ready to start filling the tanks using the shallow well. Once I get up the tank, Amy's gonna turn on the valve. We'll see how fast it fills. Here it comes. I still hear water in there. Let's see how much water we've added.
Well, it's getting pretty full.
So we're filling our cisterns with our shallow well water. If you look in here, you can see the float valve still pumping water in. Got a couple more feet to go, and then it'll be full. Filling this tank, but if you remember, all of our tanks are connected through a manifold. So as this one fills, the other 3 tank levels are rising as well. All right, so we've been pumping out of this shallow well for about 3 hours. Let's go ahead and check and see what our static level is. Well, it has gone down a lot, but I don't think we're close to sucking air yet. So we know that 12 feet from the rim is when we start sucking air. There's our water, nope. There's our water level. So we're right at about 10'2". So we've got about 2 more feet of our water level before we start sucking air. So we could be pumping out, you know, a couple hundred more gallons even, I bet. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna shut off the well pump, give the well a rest, and see how fast it recovers. You know, hasn't come back up all the way. It's gone up a foot.
Okay, that's good.
Amy,
Yeah,
what happened?
I sunk into our trench.
You found the
I
quicksand.
did find the quicksand.
That looks like it'd be sturdy.
It does. It's cold down here.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna get my shoes out.
All right. I'll be right there to help you.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Just a second. Let me pull. Just a second. Let me get this.
Don't pull me in.
Wait. That's gonna give me like a Charlie horse. Oh, good. I gotta get grass on the ground. Oh, gross. Oh, my word.
All right, so that's the soft spot there.
That is the soft spot. Oh,
Let's go hose you off.
it's like the mud monster. Okay, I'm gonna walk that way.